That's right. Game. You see it in the caption, you know. Yo, a lot of times when people see game or hear about game, it it in a lot of cases it carries a negative connotation, you know. When you say a lot of times people like, yo, they running game, right? Or, he or she, they got game. But when you hear it in sports, you don't see it in a negative way. If you see somebody's playing basketball, baseball, or whatever the sport is, and they be like, yo, he got game or she got game, you see it as a positive. But why do you see it as a negative outside of sports? Having game in life doesn't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It's just all about, uh, what you're applying it to, you know. Are you using game for positive reasons, progressive reasons, or are you using game for negative reasons? Because all game is information. It's about whatever it is that you after, or whatever it is that you're pursuing, or whatever game you're playing, for whatever reason. Are you getting what you want out of it? Do you know what to do? Do you have the right information? It could be your health game. It could be your workout game. Some of y'all, a lot of times you like to talk about the dating game. You see what I'm saying? But it depends on what kind of game you playing. You know, are you on top of your health game? Do you know what to do every day? In order to regulate, your blood pressure. Your workout game. Are you getting results? It's just all about, are you getting the results that you want? And if you're not getting the results that you want, then are you studying game? Are you studying the game that you're playing? Do you know where you're at in the game? Do you know what you're doing right? Do you know what you're doing wrong? Or do you even realize that there are things inside of the game that you just haven't learned yet? Or that you may not even be aware of the fact that you're missing those tools, or you're missing certain information, you know. But you got to know that you're playing the right game, because every game is not going to get you to where you want to go. If you're in the right game and you got the wrong information, then how are you going to win? Or if you're in the wrong game trying to get to a particular destination with the right information, how you gonna get to where you want to go? I look at results. When it comes down to what I'm after, the game, whatever game you playing, it's gonna come with information. When you do a certain thing a certain way, you're either gonna get the results that you want, or the results that you don't want, which are no results at all, or some of the results. You got to take that information. You got to run the plays again. You got to tweak it. You got to learn the game. You have to learn from other people that are in the same game. Who's getting the results? What are they doing? Is what they're doing, what does it fit you? Or can you do it in the ways that they're doing it to get the results? You got to run the plays. But how you going to win if you're not in the game? So don't see game as deception or manipulation. It's not to say that some games don't come with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's a negative. Because in any sport, you are trying to manipulate and to trick your opponent, but it's a positive game. Because why is nobody? It's not an ill intention, but the name of the game is to win. So you're trying. You don't want your opponent to know what you're about to do, because how you gonna score points? So I'm really just shooting perspectives. I come across a lot of different types of conversations, a lot of different things that I see, when I'm online, sharing information, learning new things. And, I'm just sharing energy. Maybe what I'm saying, it'll spark a light bulb in your mind, in your own life, in your own personal life, when it comes down to whatever game you're playing. Everything has a duality, even manipulation. Like I said, you fake left, you fake right. Why? Because you're trying to get to the end zone. You're trying to, break the ankles of the opponent in regards to just trying to stop you from scoring. But, off the court, off the field, whether it's school, work, relationships, health, whatever it is, goals, you still got to know what you're doing. You got to learn how to do what you need to do in order to get what you need to get done. And if you're not getting the results that you want from a particular game, it just means that there's something that you don't know, something that you're missing, something that you might not be doing right, something that you might need to do a little bit more of, or some things you might just need to just stop doing altogether in order to get closer to the answer. I posed some questions on my page earlier. I just want to engage your mind. Can you lose? I mean, what was one of the questions? I was like, can a loser teach you how to win? A lot of people had a lot of different answers. It's just all about your perspective. Can somebody that has never built a house teach you how to build a house? Before you answer a question, do you take the time out to really think about what's being asked and what you are about to say, why you are about to say it? Do you really take the time out to really to think things through in terms of reaching or coming up with an answer? See, all of that's game to me. Like, how deep can you take it when it comes down to, are you answering questions topically, or are you really taking the time out to think about why you are about to say what you are about to say? Do you take the time out to really understand what's being asked? Do you really take the time out to really see what's being said, or to understand what's being said? Or do you take the time to even understand the question for what it is? Are you seeking to try to understand where the person that's asking the question is coming from? Or are you really paying attention to the question in itself to make sure that when you answer the question, that you're answering the question to the best of your ability? I think that that's critical thinking, because it's exercises like that for me apply to real life. When you're looking at a situation, if you're looking at a circumstance that you're going through in your life, are you just looking at it topically, or are you just approaching it emotionally? Are you capable of putting your emotions to the side to really see the bigger picture? Because if you don't extract the right information, or you don't approach the reality or the problem with an open mind, then you might be close to the answer to your problem. But because you're not processing it the right way, or weighing it in several ways, the answer could be right in front of you, but you just don't see it yet, or you're just not ready for the answer because you may not be approaching the problem right, or you may not have enough information about the problem that could lead you to the very solution to that problem that you really desperately or really want and need right now. So the answer evades you. It's the same thing with a question. It's like, okay, can somebody lead you to a destination when they don't know where they're going? And if they don't know where they're at and how they got to the position or the point of where they're at right now, and they don't know where they're going in the game, right? Then do you know how to choose the right leadership? Or if you're a leader, do you know what you're going to have to do, or what you're going to have to learn in order to lead correctly? Because from what I've gathered, in order to lead correctly, at some point you had to be educated, which means that you had to follow. You had to be a student of something or somebody, or multiple somebodies, in order for you to gain the experience and the know-how. Then you had to put that information to the test to see if it really works real time. Because see, just like in any game, training is training. But real life situation is real life situations. So you're really not going to really know if the information or the plays or the strategies or whatever it is that you're learning really works for you until you put it to the test. That's game to me. It's like, okay, somebody give me a play or somebody give you a play or you come up with some information or you learn about something new. The only way that we could really figure out or come to know whether or not if that information or that strategy really works for us is that we can't be afraid to put it to the test. And you may be like, yo, well, why are you having this conversation? Why are you taking the time out to say these things? It's because I think that it's foundationally a lot of people's problems out here. It's like if you stuck in a situation that represents a question, or it should produce questions in your mind or in your minds when it comes down to, well, how did I get in this situation? Why do I keep finding myself in the same types of situations that I know I really don't want to be in? That's a question. But if you're not taking the time out to really understand the problem, then how can you ask yourself the right questions to come up or to lead you to the right answers? The answer to that is that you really can't, not effectively. You see, what do I need to do different? What have I been doing that's causing me to get the results that I don't want? Or what do I need to do? You see, life is just all about questions and answers. But once we get the information, you gotta have the willingness to put it to use. If you don't put the information to use, if you're afraid to run the play, if you're not willing to practice, if you're not willing to go through the trial and error of figuring out and finding out what works for you and what doesn't, then you're not really in the game. It means that you're afraid of the game, or you don't want to really play the game because you're afraid of messing up. You're afraid to get it wrong. If that's the whole process of learning, though, that's how you get game. How are you going to ever develop confidence in yourself? How are you ever going to come to know what you really are truly capable of? If you're afraid to try new things, if you're afraid to try new moves, it's just like I play chess. I love chess. Sometimes I just run plays in different ways that I've never played before just to see if it works. If I lose the game, it doesn't matter, but I gained the lesson because I went into it knowing that I could lose, but I'm going to gain from the loss because I am intentionally seeking to learn new things through the game by running new plays that I've never run before so that I could gain new information by what? By producing new results that I've never produced before. I want to put myself inside of new situations. I want to challenge myself by placing myself in more complicated and complex situations wherein I'm faced with more complicated problems. That's forcing me to have to dig deeper to try to find new answers. Why? Because that's the only way that I could grow. If I just stay the same all the time and I stay in my comfort zone because it's easy, then I'm not really challenging myself. I'm not really moving forward towards my goals if I'm comfortable all the time. Same thing with the workout. A lot of people be like, yo, I want to lose weight. I want to get ripped. I want a six pack. I want whatever it is that you want. You want it because you don't have it yet. You want it because you don't have it yet. But if you keep doing things the same exact way and you're afraid to try new things just to see a new result, just to be able to produce new information that could give you a better view or more insights of what has been produced that's new, that's information. And we have the ability to test new theories, to try new ideas, to put it to the test. Life is like a laboratory. try it, see what happens, get the information, tweak it. If it don't work or does not work, discard it or put it up, put it on the shelf, because what don't work today might work tomorrow in a different situation. That's game, you know. So don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to mess up or to get something wrong, because that's producing new information that you didn't have before. That's game. Game is not a negative thing. Game becomes whatever it is. Game becomes a reflection of whoever possesses it. You see, that's a good way to look at it. So if you know you're a positive person, you're a progressive person, you're moving in your purpose, you want to live a better life, you want better health, you want better, you want to be in shape, you know, you got more monetary goals or whatever your goal is. All game is learning how to get what you want out of whatever it is that you're doing, and to be able to gain such a control and mastery of whatever it is that you're after and whatever it is that you're doing per the process, that you become more confident within inside of that process in knowing what you can do and knowing what you're willing to do, so that you can continue to do more than what you're doing now. And it's all in the process of doing it. So the more you do it and you keep doing it, you're going to get better at it. You can't help but to get better at it if you keep challenging yourself, keep showing up, being consistent, and not getting comfy, you know, wherein you're not really getting any results. And that's game. That's how you improve your game. That's how you step your game up. Stepping into new territory, trying new things, mastering the basics, finding out what your strengths are, identifying with your weaknesses, and strengthening your weaknesses while you continue to cultivate and build upon your strengths. That's how you get good game. Now, what you apply that to is really up to you. But you never ever are gonna become good at anything if you're afraid to play the game. You know, just like how I asked the question, I was like, why is it there's so many guys out here that want to get laid or want to go on a date, want a woman in your life, whatever it is. But if you're afraid to talk to her because you're afraid of what she gonna say to you, then what you doing? You're never gonna get good at conversing with the opposite sex, whether it's a man talking to a woman or a woman talking to a man, or you may have a product or service or goods. You still gotta campaign for yourself. You still have to be willing to put yourself out there. See, it doesn't matter what the game is. It could be the dating game. It could be your business. It could be school, academics, business, whatever it is the pursuit is. It could be self-improvement. If you're afraid to approach it because you're afraid of failure or rejection or things not going perfectly your way the first time or the second time, then you know what that means. It means that you really don't want to play that game. You really don't want what you're saying that you want as much as you're saying that you want it, and you definitely don't want it for long. If you get it temporarily, why? Because you don't want to embrace the process for what it really is. So you're never going to really develop any real game. So I trust that you'll get some game from this game that I'm dropping. You know, I'm not really going all off into a whole lot of details. I just wanted to chop it up with y'all, you know, put some energy, you know what I'm saying, some progressive energy, some inspiration, motivation, you know, on this Friday night, you know, go into your weekend, moving forward into the rest of your life, knowing that regardless of what game you playing, you have the ability to figure it out through trial and error, and you have the ability to learn and to stay dedicated and to be consistent until you find the answers. Because once you find the answers for yourself, if you're playing a team sport, you can always pass the information on through training, guidance, giving tips or whatever for those that may be on your team that are having the same difficulties, or that may be facing the same obstacles that you've already overcome. So that way you can help somebody else to get over that obstacle and to overcome. And that's how we get better, not just as individuals. That's how we get better as whether it's families, communities, teams, organizations, groups, or what have you. The moral of the story is that good game is all about getting better at being ourselves and getting the results that we want out of whatever it is that we're pursuing, and helping others to do the same thing, whether it's health, exercise, you name it. You see? So that's it for it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all have yourself a powerful weekend. If you got some value out of this, you know what I'm saying, or what I'm saying, or you got any questions or comments, drop it in the comments. And, we can take this conversation further. If not, hey, maybe it'll reach you at a later date where it makes sense to you if it don't make sense to you tonight. You know what I'm saying? Or this evening. So y'all take care of yourselves. Health is wealth. My link is always in the comments. For those of y'all that want to step y'all health and wellness supplement game up, you want to get yourself right. Springtime is going to be here real soon. Summertime is going to be here before you know it. Don't wait till the last minute to try to get back on top of your game. And I'm out of here. Get y'all game right. Step your game up. Peace. Yeah, step y'all game up. Whatever game it is that y'all playing. But look like Facebook don't want me to leave y'all. They say I got a slow connection. But yeah, drop something in the comments, you know what I'm saying, that you think is progressive and it ties into the conversation. And now I can end this, because I was trying to end it before, they wouldn't let me. Y'all take care of yourselves and get y'all game, step your game up.